I'm here today with Laura from Omaha, Nebraska, and she had a couple questions that she wanted to ask pertaining to if you're getting ready to list your home, how do you choose the right agent to assist you in the process? So I want to welcome Laura.
Thanks for having me, Jason. So this topic kind of came about because a lot of people go to list their house. There's a lot of options of agents out there. And I'm really just interested in how you narrow it down and really find the best agent for your situation, your home, your personality, everything like that. So do you have any tips for us? Any questions that you suggest we ask? Anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great topic. Just because I know I've seen a lot of people hire the wrong agent, and not to say the agent's not good, but just it wasn't a good fit, personality wise or another trait for that seller. So I think it's a great process to if you're going to list your home or even interview an agent for if you're buying a home, just to find the right one. So we actually in our marketing book we provide a list of 25 questions that you should ask if you're interviewing other agents, just that kind of the questions that we expect to answer, just to kind of show our expertise, our experience, everything else, for that, to put all the facts on the table to see if we're a good hire or not. So I'd be glad to go through like a handful of those questions this and kind of
Yeah.
elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, you want to give us a sampling of them?
Yeah. So, one of the big ones I think is, real estate's one of the, I guess, industries where you can be part-time or full-time. And that's kind of an important aspect, especially if you are going to sell someone's house. Because if you're going to list someone's home, that's a pretty important purchase slash investment that they've made. And, there's a lot behind the scenes rather than just filling out some paperwork and sticking a sign in the yard. So, one of the biggest things for me is like, how many homes have you sold in your career, kind of, and how long have you been in the business? And it's not so much it doesn't have to be a gigantic number of homes, but I think an agent, selling at least two homes a month, so say 24, 25 in a year, just shows that they've got experience in handling different situations too that come up. Because I mean, I've been in the business now for since 2001, so 17 years, and it's like there's new situations that arise every single day. You're constantly learning, and the rules, the laws change, and you got to adapt. And so, if you're only selling two or three or four homes a year, which is like the average agent right now, um, you're just not going to have the experience needed in most situations. So, I think that's an important one, just like the years of experience. So, we kind of start with that.
Okay, that sounds good. And so what's something else that you would kind of follow up that with when you're looking at their experience?
Like another one would be what's your list price to sales price ratio, as well as like what is the percentage of your listings that do sell? Because that'll tell you if the agent has experience in pricing, and also how to get the home ready so it can market and show its best while it's on the market. That's just going to help it sell quicker and for more money. So those are a couple good questions to ask as well. If the percentage is low on either the list price to sales price ratio, or the percentage that do sell versus like expire or get taken off the market, that just shows maybe there's some areas that lack, either in the marketing or the experience of the agent. So those are a couple good questions to follow up with.
Perfect. What would be the next thing that you would kind of look into when you're looking at an agent?
I think another good one is, let's for say the sales price of the home is going to be around 250. You might ask how many buyers in that price range the agent's working with currently. Because I mean, if agent is used to working in say 100 to $200,000 price ranges. If you have a $500,000 home to sell, they may not know how to market for that price range or don't work with those type of buyers, and so you want to make sure it's a good fit. across the board. So that's a good one to ask. How many buyers they're working with, or what's their experience in that price range, to find out. And usually they can provide you, kind of their sales price experience and past history on that. Another good one, I mean, that kind of follows up with your marketing, kind of what the marketing plan is. Um, you know, there's a lot of agents that, they sign the paperwork and put a sign in the yard and a lockbox on the door and, let the other agents sell it, which, a lot of the times that's what does happen. But, there's a lot of things, from open houses to just, the marketing material online and offline, that works and helps bring buyers in and makes the phone ring, generate some interest in the property. So, and the more interest in the property you generate usually drives the price up for your seller as well. So that's another good question to follow up with as well.
Perfect. So you definitely want to look at their marketing plan, what they do for houses and stuff like that. When you are interviewing agents, I know this is kind of an awkward question for people to ask, but do you talk about commission, how much you make, stuff like that?
Yeah, that question comes up quite a bit. What your fee is, and there's a typical standard, but it really depends on the marketing too. I mean, nowadays where some properties require drone footage and other video type marketing that maybe it costs a little more. So we kind of have a tier system that we can introduce different levels of marketing. So it really depends on that. And we have something too where we even if the seller sells a property themselves, brings their own buyer, we can cut down the commission that way too. So I mean, we're pretty free range. I mean, there's some sellers out there that they just need your guidance and help, but they're going to be out there flooding the street with word of mouth and Facebook and social media that their house is for sale. And I mean, hey, if they bring the buyer, then I think we definitely work with them on that.
Perfect. Yeah, that's something really to keep in mind as you're kind of going through the listing process. So we got a good sampling of questions. Do you have anything else that you would say is really important to add when you're kind of interviewing agents?
Yeah, I'd say the last thing is really kind of before the house hits the market, you go in and, kind of analyze and see what might need to be done. Like we just had one, the walls were yellow and just kind of like too bright, too off of colors for most buyers. And so we recommended going in. They spent about $3,500 to update to, some gray tones that are more today's trends. And it helped tremendously. So, just look at the house, see what it needs. If it needs, flooring, carpet, any landscape, and there's certain things you can do that are minimal amount of money where you're going to get good return on. So if the agent knows, number one, how to identify those factors, and then also if they have the right vendors that they work with to refer you to instead of just calling out of the yellow pages. And so our investment in rehab side, we work with tons of vendors and the repeat vendors we've had for 5 to 10 years. And we recommend them. They pass our prices on, so they get, good pricing on all the stuff we recommend. So I think that's a huge part in determining that full retail price as well.
Definitely. So just to kind of wrap things up, if people want or have more questions for you about finding a listing agent or anything like that, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, we're pretty easy to get a hold of. So just shoot us an email, give us a call, hit us up on Facebook or social media. Anyway, we'd love to talk, chat, meet, grab coffee, whatever. So we'd love to answer the questions and help them down the right path.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Jason.
You bet. Thanks, Laura. Have a good day.
You too.